So we got Chi-Town Sue being arrested. I've had some people asking what my thoughts are on it, and I think she needs a good lawyer. I think if she gets a good lawyer, she has a very good chance of getting off scot free. That is, if what I understand of Illinois' laws hold up. Because again, I'm not licensed to practice in Illinois, and I don't have access to a law library that stocks all the Illinois decisions. Even the local law libraries out here, they only have subscriptions to California and federal. They don't. You could look up other states' um, cases if you know them, but it's searching is not that awesome. So, assuming that this People v. Fernandez is still good. All right, so let's start off with the resisting or obstructing. Resisting or obstructing might apply. Just ever so vaguely might apply. Um, I I can't say it will. It's going to be a question of fact. It's going to be who can present it better to the jury. It is. This one is a toss up as far as the failure to ID. That would be another charge of um, resisting or obstructing, and People v. Fernandez. If that is still good law, again, I can't shepherdize it. I'm not. I'm not in Illinois. If that is still good law, then she's probably going to get off with nothing for the failure to ID, because the failure to ID stat has no corresponding charge, like no misdemeanor, no felony. So it would default, if I'm reading People v. Fernandez right, it would default to another resisting or obstructing. And there you go. There's in People v. Fernandez, basically people like Chi-Town Sue, where they're like, they were arguing with the police, basically, like, yeah, I'll identify as soon as you tell me what crime I committed, is basically very similar to some of the other cases where they're like, yeah, I'll identify at booking or something like that. So, pretty good on that. Now, the big question is Alvarez. Filming in public, is that protected? Yes, absolutely it is. Alvarez doesn't say it, but I can't imagine them saying that recording in public isn't protected. Alvarez was striking down an eavesdropping statute that prevented people from eavesdrop or from recording the police. It was an all party consent thing, and if the police didn't consent, then you couldn't record them in public. Now, the why she's going to need a good lawyer is because I don't think it turned on her recording the officer. I think it turned on her following the officer, which would go back to the obstructing. If the prosecution plays a good game and she doesn't have a good lawyer, then the prosecution is going to paint it as it's not at all about filming. Filming didn't come into play at all. It'd be basically the same thing as her wearing an obnoxious shirt. She didn't get arrested for wearing the obnoxious shirt. She got arrested for following too close. She didn't get arrested for filming. She got arrested for following too close. So that's a real question of fact, and it's going to come down. I mean, if the prosecution decides to pursue it, it is going to come down to arguing out in front of a jury and seeing who wins. Um, Honestly, like, I actually don't really think the prosecution's going to chase her on it, although the police were very much cognizant of her. I think they thought she was pink camera magic, but they kind of knew that she was one of the two. So, as far as suing on like a 1983 lawsuit, I don't necessarily think she has a good shot. The officers, I think, reasonably could say that resisting or obstructing could apply. And even if she did win, she doesn't really have any damages. We've gone over that before in just the previous video. She doesn't have a job. She gets, I think she said she gets disability. So her time is essentially free. So whatever out of cost expenses that she could show, maybe, but I don't particularly see a lawyer going to want to jump on it. Now, one thing I didn't cover in the other video when I was talking about damages is settlements. Lawyers are expensive, and not just your lawyer, but opposing counsel is also expensive. And I know California is always hiring attorney generals, always, because nobody wants to work for the state forever. Starting pay, and I know this because I may end up having to become either a public defender or a deputy attorney general because, well, it's hard to get going in the private sector. Yes, I am employed, but it's not as lucrative for me as it could be, and a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, which brings me back to settlements. The city, like if she does bring suit, if she has a good lawyer, not if she's doing it pro se, but if she has a good lawyer, that might make the city think, well, let's just settle this. We know we don't have to settle it for a whole heck of a lot. If we throw, 10 grand her way or 100 grand or somewhere in that kind of range, then she's not going to want to pursue it. And we might end up, we'll cut out the risk of a potential reward. Like if she does have some killer amount of damages showing up out of nowhere, which I don't think, that's a long shot. Or B, we'll just save ourselves the cost of litigation. And I think it's that B part that would actually drive them to offer a settlement. I don't think it'll be big. And if you were hoping to hear me say that she has a slam dunk case, that's very rare in law. So, and this wasn't it. She was following close. Now, do I think she was following too close? That's a question of fact for the judge to determine, or the jury, I should say, if it goes in front of a jury. It's a misdemeanor, so she might not get. It's a Class A misdemeanor. Yeah, she might not get a jury. Anyway, sorry for being rambly. There's just a lot of unknowns. It's not an awesome slam dunk case, but she has an excellent shot of winning. She has like a super shot of winning the criminal case with a good lawyer, and she has a non-zero chance of getting a settlement. She has a better chance of getting a settlement than she does getting compensated in any good way to justify suing and taking it all the way to a verdict. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.